Hey everybody, this is Erin Lincoln. I'm back today to show you how to stitch up the new Softie Sweater Die so your softies can be nice and warm all winter long, as well as turn up to all those ugly sweater parties for the holidays. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. The Softie Sweater Die comes with a pocket that can go on the front. We're not using that today, but I just wanted to point it out. This is what we'll be using, the main sweater. You're going to want to cut two, a front and a back. I've already put the details on my front and turned under and stitched my cuffs on the back. We're going to reference this when I do the front because there's a couple little tricks and it's nice to see the visual. So let's go ahead and get started. As you can see, the cuffs and the top and the bottom of the sweater are folded over and stitched. Folding everything, all your holes line up. And as you can see, there's two on the bottom and two on the top. So when you fold, you're going to be doing just one stitch vertically on all the surfaces, all the cuffs. I do want to point out the ones on the edges, the vertical stitches on the edges of all the cuffs do not get stitched. Those are part of the edge of the sweater die in general, so we're going to do those later. Just be aware of that. So when you do stitch your cuffs, you're going to turn them, you're going to fold them over to the front, so they have this rolled hem look. And you're going to insert your needle on the second hole, stitching hole in. And you're going to stitch up and down. We're creating these vertical ribs to make it look like a sweater ribbing on cuffs and collars. That's the idea here. The cuff's really great because I'm going to show you start to finish here because it's so short, the little arm cuffs. So it's 4 stitches vertically, and then we're going to stitch the horizontal stitches next. So it's just really easy stitching. Okay, and again, we're not doing the vertical stitch on the cuffs or the collar on the outside edges. But the horizontal lines, we will, because those are not part of the border of the sweater. Now this is a little tricky. For one edge of the stitching here on the horizontal across and back, you're going to do our standard running stitch, which goes from point A to point B and then back. And it looks the same on the front and the back. Doesn't matter if it's the top or the bottom, because these really are going to be on the inside. You're not going to see these at all. But the reason I mention this, you're going to see here real soon. And it has all to do with how we tie our knot. We want our ends of the thread on the same side. That is Miss Luna, my kitten. I figured I'd give her a cameo since we're making a kitten softie. She can't resist all this sewing going around. Okay, so here is where it comes into play, because if you look, my thread is on this end and my needle's on this end. If I do the standard running stitch, I'll end up back on the opposite end of the cuff and it's going to be hard for me to tie it off. So instead, we're going to do a back stitch. This is a really good shot and a visual for you if you've never done this before, but if you need any additional help, just go ahead and Google back stitch and you'll figure it out. It's actually really easy. Just gives me a way of completely filling in this edge with a solid stitching line and have my ends be on the same side so I can tie them off. All done. And if you can see here, my threads are on the ends of my thread are on the same side for a knot. Okay, you're going to want to go ahead and do this and repeat this vertical stitching across, running stitch on one edge, and back stitch on the other edge for the remaining cuffs on the front of the sweater. I'm going to do this all off camera because you have a good idea and you got to see it start to finish. It's just the exact same on all the other edges. Just fold up and stitch. Okay, once that is all done, it's time to sew our sweater together. This sweater is sewn with the softie inside of it. It's not something that can be removed and put back on. Just like so. Now we can get away with doing one edge of the sweater without the softie in it, then we can place them in. And just for the sake of easiness, you don't need to put the softie and hold on to him and struggle around him for this first edge. So there's 4 edges we need to stitch from cuff to cuff. There's 4 places. From the collar to the arm cuff, that's 1. From the arm cuff to the bottom cuff, that's 2. From the bottom cuff to the next arm cuff is 3. And then the arm cuff to the top collar is 4. You're going to do a running stitch back and forth. And here's where we add in that stitch to complete that ribbed look that we put off when we were just turning and stitching the cuffs under. So you can see how it all comes together. Okay, that edge is completely done. For the next 3, you want your softie inside your sweater. It's a really tight fit. Softie needs to go on a diet or something. Okay, I'm going to put my softie inside, and I've already stitched up the opposite arm off camera. And don't tell anybody, but that's just code for I stitched it up outside the camera shot. I didn't mean to. It was just an accident. But that's okay. I have 2 more surfaces to do. What you're going to do is you're going to squeeze the sweater together, the front and the back, over the edge of the softie. And you're going to insert your needle at a cuff, and you're going to sew a running stitch up around and then reverse to the next cuff. So we're going to go up the side, like the belly of the softie, around the armpit and down to the hand, and then reverse back. And then your last is the opposite side of the softie. And you squeeze your sweater together, and you won't catch any of the softie with your needle. But like I said, it's a very tight fit. You're not taking this on and off. Again, insert your needle down at a cuff, running stitch to the closest cuff, reverse, tie off and cut. And that is how you put your sweater on your softie. Okay, our softie is all done with his sweater. Now I just want to point out this hippo has some trim to make it more of a girl softie. So what you would do is you just flip up a cuff in hot glue trim at this point. It's really easy to do, and I was thinking a really thicker trim would look more like a skirt. Okay, our softies are all ready for the winter and for Christmas. Let me know if you have any questions. I can be found on the forum or on my blog. Just drop me a comment and I usually will reply right underneath. Okay, thanks. You have a nice day. Happy sewing.